My name is Charlene and I'll be host for today's training. Since the discovery of ageLOC science, Nu Skin has been committed to incorporate this advancement in our products to help more people to live young together and improve their life through the ageLOC opportunity, attaining time freedom and financial freedom. Before we begin, I just want to thank all of you and congratulate all of you for being here with us today. You are definitely taking the right step to equip yourself with all the knowledge you need to know to power up your Nu Skin business. In the upcoming ageLOC R2 and Body Trial limited time offer coming in April and May. Not forgetting that our strongest asset not only lies in our great product, but as well as our people. Our number one business builder like you, as well as our number one management team who never fail to inspire our internal team to help our distributor and setting the vision to be a number one direct selling company in Singapore. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to invite one of our greatest motivator and leader in our corporate office. She is the one who talked about our number one goal every day since 2010 and devoting herself in all the groundwork of operation to ensure Nu Skin Singapore distributor get the best. You will always get to see her in the showcase, talking to distributor even though she's not a frontline team member. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome our Nu Skin Singapore Director of Distributor Success, Ms. Neo Chui, up on stage.
Thank you, Charlene. Good morning. Good morning. A great good morning to my number one distributors. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you feeling this morning? Fantastic. And I know that we have a lot of people coming from all over the world attending this morning's training, right? Okay, where are my number one distributors from Singapore? Woo! Wow, I can feel your number one spirit. Okay, where are my distributors coming from Malaysia? Woo! Thank you for coming. Okay, I know it's tough. Okay, driving in early in the morning to attend the training here. And I believe I have some distributors coming from the other region. Hi. Wow, see, our trainers are so popular. They have attracted people all the way from Hong Kong. Thank you very much, okay, for attending our training this morning. And anybody attending the training for the first time, as a first timer in Nu Skin, our new friends, let's give our new friends a big hand. And I really want to say that all of you are here, at the right timing. Do you know why? Yeah, because we are in the best timing ever, okay, in the Nu Skin world. Okay, maybe let me just start by sharing. Okay, we just ended February, right? We just started March. So we had a fantastic February, okay, and it was actually our biggest February ever. Okay, wow, give yourself a big hand. Feb is traditionally a slow month for us. We all know why, right? Okay, majority of us being Chinese, okay, we celebrate our Chinese New Year. Okay, being only 28 days in a month, okay, we have to work really hard, okay, to end the month high. But last month was the greatest month ever. And not just that, okay, it is one of our highest months in our past 10 years. Okay, so a big hand to yourself. Okay, and of course, high revenue, high top line, okay, is great, good news for us. But what's more important is we have very strong sponsoring numbers. Okay, strong sponsoring numbers. You see the numbers on the screen. Okay, I don't see it very well from here. But you do see that the DA and the LOI numbers, okay, for the new people, this means new people that are joining us in the business. Okay, new people coming in to enjoy the products, new people coming into the business to join our ranks, okay, of building the business, leveraging on this Nu Skin business opportunity. Okay, they have both increased double-digit year-over-year. Okay, and at the same time, okay, two of our strongest and our key top-selling products, TRA and ageLOC, have also grown double-digit year-over-year. Isn't that fantastic? Yes, and I know that all of you say fantastic because all of you are also smiling your way to the bank because you also see your own personal numbers growing double year over year. Am I right? Yeah? And doing think by doing great, okay, by doing well, okay, we are doing a lot more great good, okay, by making a difference to the people around us. Okay, and just early part of this year, we have signed a contract, okay, with the KK hospital, okay, to actually help children with congenital disease in the region. Okay, so give yourself a big hand. This is a great project, okay, where KK, okay, we have had spent a long time working things out with KK. And finally, they recognize that, yes, Nu Skin is the company that we want to work with. Okay, they want to partner with us because they recognize our force for good spirit, okay, and they truly understand, okay, that we are the people who are truly committed to make things happen for them. Okay, and now they are working very eagerly, okay, to source for the right candidates in the region, okay, so that, our 1% donation funds can then be directed, okay, to save more children around the world. So we look forward, to reporting to all of you, okay, our successful case studies coming from this project with KKH. Okay, and of course, great performance for Singapore. Okay, last year we already declared that we are the #1 direct selling company in Singapore. Okay, we have grown, yes, we have grown, for many consecutive quarters. And in fact, for this quarter one, we have not completed quarter one, right? We still have much to go. So just counting Jan and February alone, okay, we are already growing a good, I can't see the number here, 30-something%, okay? And that purple bar that you see there is, bent on exceeding that green bar. I think we will. Do you think we will do that? Yeah, I think we will. Very, very high chance. So you see, this is really an indicator of how strong, okay, the business is growing here in Singapore. Okay, you may hear people saying, Singapore is a saturated market, small market, what can we do? Nu Skin has been here 12 years, but mind you, we are the #1 direct selling company in Singapore. Okay, not just a company that just entered 10 years ago. Yeah? And we are continuing to grow stronger and stronger. And this is very reflective of what we do globally. Because globally, we envision ourselves to create 1 millionaire every 5 days. And I tell you, we are really doing that. Okay, just last month, we created 4 more new $1 million circle member. Okay, and that brings us a total of 786 millionaires around the world. And we are continuing to do that. Okay, and just as we announced our annual results for last year, okay, our Nu Skin Enterprises stock price, okay, hit rocket high. Okay, I think it went, this 57.9 is not the highest. Okay, it went, I think, up to 58, slightly above 58. So for those of you who are shareholders of Nu Skin shares, congratulations. Okay, you have bought the shares, and I'm sure you are also smiling your way to the bank. Okay, in fact, about 2009, our share price is about maybe 850, 8 plus, okay, 2009. And it went all the way now to 58, so that's about a 500% increase. And if you recall what happened in 2009, okay, that was exactly when we launched the ageLOC products, personal care products. Okay, we started launching the ageLOC transformation set and then the ageLOC governing. And today, we have ageLOC R Square and ageLOC Body Trio. But is that the end? No. So more is to come, the best is yet to be. So we are seeing a lot of products that's already in the pipeline. Okay, coming up after ageLOC R Square and ageLOC Body Trio, we have our ageLOC Alpha, ageLOC TRA. We're very excited about this, right? Because TRA is already doing so well. You know, how much more can ageLOC TRA do? I really cannot imagine. Yeah, and even after that, we still have ageLOC Beta. And Joe Chen promises, many, many more ageLOC products. And I'm sure, because if ageLOC, okay, allows us to address the source of aging, we will then be able to have lots of products that will benefit, many, many people out there. But what does this mean to all of us as business builders, as people who are interested in the Nu Skin business opportunity? Okay, we see that, last year, okay, when we launched the ageLOC R Square and Body Trio in the Global Convention last year, okay, there are many people who took advantage or who ride on the wave and saw their commission, saw record high in that month itself, right? I'm sure some of you experienced that. And this year, okay, 2012, we're going to do the LTO, the limited time offer of ageLOC, arsquare, and Body Trio. Okay, so next year in 2014, what's going to happen? We will probably see the launch of ageLOC Gamma, which is ageLOC TRA, and ageLOC Alpha, okay, in the global convention. Okay, then the year after, 2014, is our regional convention again. And we will do the same thing, LTO, okay, of your ageLOC TRA and your ageLOC Alpha. So another LTO, okay. Then the following year, what's after regional convention? Global convention, correct. And then that's when we will see the launch of ageLOC Beta. Then the following year, what happens after global convention? Regional convention, correct, Sukan. And what are we going to see? The launch of ageLOC Beta. And then after global convention, you should get it now. After regional convention is, yes, global convention. Then we will see the launch of ageLOC Beta. Okay, you see, we have already established this this momentum. Okay, and at least you can see from now all the way until 2016, 2017, we have all the key sponsoring products mapped out for you. Okay, can you see that the pre-order and the LTO are coming and helping you to create spikes in your organization? Okay, helping you to build your organizations. And the way to go in building your organization, okay, is really to keep on focusing on your key current sponsoring product, which is either TRA or ageLOC. Okay, so work very closely with your uplines. Okay, don't change your sponsoring story unless necessary. Okay, what do I mean when unless necessary? When you see that there is no demand. Okay, when you walk out of the room later after this training, walk downstairs, if you cannot find any fat people around, then you can't tell me TRA cannot do. No fat people. But in the morning you take the train, now the morning train crowd is terrible, right? Yeah, it's really terrible. When the door opens, 10 of us try to squeeze into that little pocket of space. Okay, and you hope that this one fat man, okay, no discrimination here, but really you wish that if he comes out, he will allow maybe another 5 more in. So if that doesn't happen, then you come and tell me, TRA cannot do. Otherwise, there is a market out there. Okay, I was just sharing this recently, maybe some of us can relate. There's this Groupon, you know Groupon? Sale, very popular now, right? Okay, they just launched this hot pants, okay, shorts, okay, which they claim that if you wear it, you'll be able to increase your metabolism and burn fats, okay, within just 2 weeks of just wearing the pants. You don't have to do any exercise, just wear it, okay? And within just minutes of posting that item on Groupon, you know what? 200-300 people bought the hot pants. So you tell me there is no market for weight management. Yeah, so if really that happens, then change your sponsoring story. Or you say the product is ineffective, it's not working. But how can TRA be ineffective? Yeah, I'm sure all the business builders seated here can show us tons and tons of testimonials. Yeah, it's really a proven system, you know, that has proven to work since we launched in year 2009. And just to remind all of you, we haven't changed anything yet. 2009 until now is how many years already? 3 years. 3 years, we're still doing TRA. 3 years, my number is still growing double-digit year over year, every year. Okay, so there is a big, big market for weight management out there. And of course, lastly, if you see that the price, you know, is being eroded, then you change your sponsoring story. But if not, it's going to stay 2080. Okay, it's going to stay TRA. Okay, so don't change your sponsoring story. So work with your uplines, okay, to focus on building around this one core sponsoring story. And this is from my upline, Michael. Okay, Michael can't be here today, but he always shares this with all of us and all the builders, that, you know, all the programs and the initiatives that we work out is really to help you to build your business. And the core to building your business, like I said earlier, is to help you to build your executives. Okay, so whatever we do, okay, is to build your executives. So today, if you are an executive, what is the first privilege that you enjoy? To buy LTO, right? That's why you're here this morning, right? Okay, to buy LTO. And when you buy your LTO, and when you do that, okay, firstly, you would already, okay, win yourself, on your way, to an executive camp. Okay, the first step of our roadmap to success. Okay, and if you continue to do that and you become a Ruby executive by LTO month, by April and by May, okay, and if you do LTO, I can tell you, you have already done 2 months of your Ruby success trip. I will see you next year in Beijing. Get it? Yeah? And if you continue to do that, or if you do that in the process, you will probably win yourself more tickets to Hawaii. Okay? Because this month is the last month. Okay? To create executives for yourselves, okay, to go to Hawaii. Yeah? And of course, lastly, we have the Go Double Double Challenge. Okay, which allows all of us, gives us this opportunity to win an extra $15,000 US, okay, by creating executives in the organization. But I can tell you this 15,000 is nothing, because New Skin 6 level and 5% pays you more, way, way more than that. And this is the business opportunity that New Skin offers you. Yeah? So lastly, I just want to say, all of us here at corporate, we're committed, to our vision, okay, which is to be the leading direct selling company, okay, to pay out the most commissions to our distributor than any other company. And we are committed to realizing, okay, our 2.0 goals, okay, which is to have a 5 billion revenue achievement. And when we do that, we will be paying out another 2 billion in commission to all our distributors. Okay, so we are very committed to pay that amount out. So now the ball is in your court, okay, whether you will be part of that 2 billion commissions payout. All right, so thank you very much, okay. Thank you for your commitment and your leadership, okay, to helping us in making the #1 direct selling company in Singapore. And we look forward to achieving greater heights with all of you. Thank you very much and have a great training.
Thank you, Chui. Today, we have exclusively invited 2 product experts, Ms. Nancy Tan and Mr. Glenn Cheney, to get you and your team ready to seize the new generation ageLOC product opportunity in the coming Southeast Asia Regional Convention limited time offer. They are going to share with all of us on all the essential information you need to know as our business builder. They were going to share with us ageLOC revolutionary breakthrough, all the product knowledge you need to know of ageLOC R2 and ageLOC body trial, and for people who are focusing on TRA weight management program, how ageLOC R2 can be a perfect combination to this fantastic TRA weight management program, as well as to all the ageLOC Secret of You builder, how ageLOC body trial works hand in hand with the ageLOC governing spa system to bring your customer the best efficacy. Nancy has also prepared a product demonstration today to share with all of you. Without further ado, please allow me to introduce our first speaker, Ms. Nancy Tan, our Regional Training Manager of the Pacific Region and South Asia Region. Nancy holds UK certification in Sedasco from the World Major International Beauty Therapy Association and Diploma in Beauty Therapy from ITEC, World Master and SciTech. She has 12 years of working experience in the retail cosmetic industry and 8 years of working experience in the direct selling industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Ms. Nancy Tan on stage.
Thank you, Charlene. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to see you on a Saturday morning. Right, okay, now, can we have a show of hands? How many of you here came all the way from Hong Kong, all the way from Malaysia, or all the way from Singapore just to see me? Okay, all the way from US just to see me. Thank you very much, Glenn. Okay, I'm sure you are here because you love New Skin products and you want to share this love with more people. Am I correct? Yes. Now, so when we want to share with more people, I'm sorry, I think some of you can't see me, right? I'm blocked by the podium. Okay, so I'll stand a little bit out. Pardon me for my unique, what do you call this size? Batik, yes, batik size. Okay, now, so we are here because we want to share with people to help them feel better, and look better, right? So when do you think that we need to feel better or look better? When there's a comparison. When someone next to us, same age, then of course we want to feel better or we want to look better. Yes? Yeah? So, or when it's near to our class reunion, wow, that's the time where the night before you do all your spa. Right? Okay? Now, okay, or when we look at the celebrities, we were wondering how come they never aged. Okay, for example, Maggie, right? She's from Hong Kong, so you know, some of you would know, and she's very popular in Hollywood now. So if you look at her when she is 20 and where she is 40 now, yeah, in fact she aged better. As she aged, she looked better, right? And some more, yeah, Andy Lau or her, right? So all of these people that we see, like they have never aged. Especially this guy, 20 years old, right? Is that 20 and 50 years old? How you wish that when you're 50 years old, you have a skin like that. Yeah? So because I'm more into skin, I always look at skin. So you can see, you know, at 50 years old, if you have this skin, I think you have done a great job. Right? This lady, Vivian, wow, she looks like she took the picture a day before, that's all. Right? So 20 years old and 36 years old, but do you see any changes? No, right? She looks as great when she's in her 20s. So that's what we want, isn't it? Yeah, to look, if not, we can't stop aging, but to at least we age gracefully, or you know, or we look better compared to our peers, right? Okay, now how about this lady? How do you think how old when she took this picture? Huh? 20, oh, okay. You know, when I did the same training in Malaysia, they said 18. Yesterday, your upline says 16. Today, you say 20. Okay, now, you are still very kind to me because this picture was taken when I was 35. Okay, that's the first year when I joined New Skin. Okay, so I have been in the skincare industries for many years, but I did not start from there because I actually studied applied psychology. So you'll be wondering how come someone in studying abnormal forensic psychology, then how come go into skincare? Because I think skincare make me feel better and happier. Right? Now, so... And then another pictures, oh sorry, I have to point here. Okay, so this pictures was taken when I was 43, which is this year, last year. Okay, now so I'm sure you agree with me, I've been taking care of myself well in terms of my appearance. I'm talking about in terms of my appearance. Unfortunately, I just don't grow taller. Okay, so I always, you know, yeah, I think I have a chance, right? That's why when every time I see Dr. Chang, Joe, so I always ask him, you know, please do something on the gene that make me taller. Okay, now, so even though in terms of appearance, I don't feel old, but I think when I reached 40, that was 3 years or 4 years ago, I felt old at a certain point. You know why? Because when I walk my dog, instead of I walk him, he walks me. Because he grows, you know. So he has so much energy that he pulls me, you know. So at that time, I'm so glad that we have Vitality, remember? Before we have ageLOC, we have Vitality. Okay, so as a staff, we get to try first. So I was on Vitality, then I have ageLOC. So now I can at least stay on par with him. So he don't push me anymore. So that's how great New Skin is. You know, it help you to keep up to your daily lifestyle, keep you closer to the people that you love, even though it's a pet, a dog, but to me, he's my son. So I always consider him non-animal, which is human. And I give him a name called Man, M-A-N-N. So he has a very different mindset. He thought he's really man. So he asked for everything I eat, inclusive of my supplements. Okay, that's out of the topic. Okay. Anyway, now, so what do you think will there be a demand for anti-aging? You know, just now Chewy mentioned, right? You will only change your sponsoring stories when there's no demand. Do you think there's a demand for anti-aging? There's a huge demand. You know, recently in Taiwan, their anti-aging association, they conducted an online survey asking people from the Asia Pacific, the countries in Asia Pacific, ask them what is the major concern in aging. Okay, and who do you think, people from which country has the most concern on aging? Take a guess. In those countries in Asia Pacific, which country? Japan has the most concern? No. Shanghainese. Shanghainese has the most concern on aging. Who has the least concern? Singapore. Japanese. Just now I saw one Japanese lady. Ohayo gozaimasu. She is one of my students in one of my, I think one of my class, so I could recognize her. Okay, now, where am I? Oh, okay. So I said Japanese has the least concern, right? And then they also asked, if you were to prevent one of your organ against aging, which would be the first organ that you want to prevent? Heart? Brain. So they say brain is the first organ that I want to prevent if I could prevent against aging. Now, later you will understand from Glenn that, R square actually helped on the brain as well. So do you think there's no demand? No, it's really huge, right? And then Thailand and Korea, they has the most concern on anti-aging on the skin. That's why it's proven, you see, in Thailand or Korea, they have their aesthetic, in terms of clinics, they are well-do, right, in this area. Okay, so that tells you how big the demand is going to be. Okay, so that sets the anti-aging stage for 274 billion. That's how big the business is going to be. Okay, now with the increase of GDP, the power of spending, people are able to spend more because they have more money and they want more. So from this, you can see shares of global expenditure for luxury branded products. Now, when does people go for branded product? Is when they have their basic fundamental, right? Yeah, in psychology, we always learn you have 5 hierarchy of needs in human being. So every one of us, we have different needs at a different level of our life. But the most fundamental needs that we want is food, water, safety, then education, right? Then comes to aesthetic. So aesthetic, in fact, is the 4th need in our lifespan. So when we are able to see this means it's good, because we have good life already. That means you have your basic fundamental. So what you want is more. So that's what our consumer want now. They want more. Okay? So in terms of skincare, what do they expect? Or in terms of supplement, what do they expect? They want a gene-based technology. Okay? Now, so as an anti-aging player in this industry, okay, do you think that only New Skin knows about this demand? Other players, they are not aware. Are they aware? Yes, because out there, there are already products that says, it works on a genetic level, right? Yeah, so there are many brands. This is an open, so I cannot tell you which brand you need to find out, okay? So there are many brands already, cater products that targets on the genetic base. Now, so why are we here today is my role here today is to share with you how is New Skin different. How ageLOC technology is different, right? Because that's our customer will ask us, why should I choose New Skin? I already know about this product, or I already been using this product. Yeah, so that we need to tell them what makes New Skin different. So what makes New Skin different is our collaboration, the science that we have with our own scientists and also with LifeGen, allow us to understand more about gene, right? So we realize that, in order to work on gene, you cannot just work on one gene or single gene activities. That means not just by boosting everything, boost up your collagen or boost, because later when we go into details, you realize that not all genes produces
things that you want. For example, pigmentation or melanin. Okay, so you have one gene that produce melanin, right? So that's to protect you against sun damage. However, when it appears on your skin unevenly, it causes pigmentation. So we don't want that gene to be very active, isn't it? So you cannot everything boost up, because if you boost up means the melanin production is going to be high. But on one area that we want the genes to be more active, for example, collagen production. Yes, all of us needs collagen production. So we want this gene's activity to be boosted up so that we can have more collagen. So that's what New Skin is all about. We are able to identify which groups of genes that actually does the collagen production and which genes that produces pigmentation and the rest. So we know which one to upregulate and which one to downregulate and strike a balance. The balance is the important one, right? Okay, now, and very importantly, we have a lot of walking testimonial like all of you and us, right? So, so from all this, we can tell our stories. And that's what makes New Skin very different. We tell our real stories, our experiences. So you can see, you know her, right? Okay, Amy, so compared to her son, they doesn't look like mother and son, isn't it? Yeah? Okay, so we have more and more of testimonials to share with you. Okay, this from Japan. So like this, they look like a couple, right? They doesn't look like mother and son. Yes? So although they are like 20 years, 30 years apart, so they are able to keep up to their appearance and their health, so that they have a closer relationship with their family. Okay. Now, so since every one of us use our stories to share, right? So I'm going to share with you one of my story. Okay, just for you, Okay, don't tell anyone else. Okay, now, in Malaysia, for our children, okay, by the way, I have a 12-year-old daughter, okay? So every time they finish a semester, we need to go to the school and collect report cards. That means, to see how they perform at the school. So that day, I went to the school, and then, because there's no queue, so you just randomly sit. And I don't know how the teacher would know who come first and who come last. So the teacher would call. Okay, so I sat there for almost an hour, and anyone that came after me, they left. But I'm still sitting there. So I was wondering, what happened? Maybe it's my daughter's result so bad that the teacher doesn't want to see me at all. So I sent my daughter to the teacher and asked, okay, so you know what the teacher said? Where's your mother? I was there sitting, and she couldn't see me. So yesterday I told your upline, actually my daughter is really huge. She's very tall. She's very tall, okay? And she is quite plump. And so she doesn't look like my daughter, she looks like my elder sister. So I have to start her on ageLOC very soon. Okay, so that's what ageLOC all about. Okay, so we are able to identify the different genes expression using this, what we call the gene chip. Okay, and we look at their activities. Okay, now, so when we look at their activities, what we do is we look at which activities that actually need to upregulate and which activities that needs to downregulate. Yeah, so for example, okay, I can't see from here because it's too far, but you can find, okay, for example, collagen. Right, there's one that's collagen. Okay, before that, you look at the bar, the blue bar and the red bar. Okay, so the blue bar says what? Down-regulate, right? Okay, and the red bar says up-regulate. Now, so, for example, collagen. So, do you want your genes to up or down? Up. So, that's why in our lab, okay, it's proven that the culture cells that we have, once we put in the ageLOC blend ingredient, what happened to their cells? In terms of collagen production, it actually upregulate. Okay, the blue one, what does the blue one say? I can't see. Collagen degrading means it make your collagen break down. So do you want to up or down? Degradation means it make your collagen break down. So you want to down-regulate their activities so that they will not further breaking down your collagen. So this is what makes ageLOC unique, because it's able to identify individual of you whether you need to upregulate at certain genes activities or you need to downregulate at certain genes activities. So ageLOC is a customized skincare for each individual of you because it works differently in you, right? Okay. Right, now, so our products. So we learned so much about the technology, so we have the products. So we have the first ageLOC product, which is 3 years ago, still remember, in 2009. That's when we launched our ageLOC Spa and the transformation. Now, how many of you were in that convention that in 2009? And do you know how much we sold during the 3 days? Anyone? 17 million within 3 days. For the 2 products, we sold 17 million. Now, last year, we launched another phase of ageLOC product, right? Which is R-Square and the Body Spa. Yes? How much do we sold within the 3 days? 100 million. Do you see a difference? 3 years ago, it was 17 million. 3 years later, it was 100 million. Now, who is good at calculation? How much increase do we have? A plus 488%. A plus 488%. So do you think we are not going to succeed? No, right? We are going to be successful because that's how the demand, right? We have the demand and that's how well it's going to do. Okay? Now, so some of you will say, I missed the boat because I wasn't there. It's okay because whatever passed, the figure that I show you is past. So what most important is the coming one. The coming wave, right? So remember, just now Chewy said, right, that we have a goal to achieve by 2015. That is to achieve 5 billion sales and to pay out commission of 2 billion. Okay? And do you know what's the target for Southeast Asia? 500 million, and we want to pay out 200 million commission. And do you know how much we closed last year? Almost 200 million. And we have 3 years to go, you know. So if what is our motto? Go double, double, right? So if 200 double is 400, right? 400 double is 800. How much is your commission? 320. Is it 320? Yeah lah. 84 some past 32, right? So it's 320. 320 million. That's your commission. Again, the question, you're in or you're out, right? So again, like what you said, the ball is in your court. Okay, now, so you may be asking why body spa? You know, because body segment is a huge segment that yet a lot of players haven't touched. So it's a big piece of cake, actually. Okay, it's a big piece of cake. Okay, I remember 10 years ago when I was with P&G SK2, that time they wanted to develop an anti-aging body skincare. Okay, so a lot of research has been put in, you know, hard work has been put in, then finally we have the product. But that time it's not doing that well. You know why? Because the time was not right. Because that time, our consumers' priority is not on the body yet, it's more on the face. Okay, but today, do you think it's the right time? Yes, because you ask your friends or you ask your prospect or your customers, how much are they willing to spend at the clinics just to keep their figure? Lots of money, especially, and usually it's not like one time, right? Is they have to sign a course that which costs them thousands of dollars. Now all the husband, wow, that's how my wife spent my money. Okay, that's thousands of dollars that they invested just to keep a good shape. All right, so that's how huge body skincare is going to be. Okay, now, and furthermore, as we age, the evidence of aging on our body is very visible, same as your face. Okay, so for example, okay, I'm going to show you some example. Once upon a time, our what's this? James Bond, right? James Bond. Okay, Pierce Brosnan. Okay, how about this, like this? Roger Moore. Yeah, you can see a difference before and now. Who is this? Clint Eastwood. Yes. Who is this? Our husband. Right? Our husband. We also have that effect once upon a time, but we can give birth, right? But they never give birth. Right? So, us, this is about us, right? After give birth, that's where we have to stay with our stretch mark and all that. Then, cellulite. Cellulite issue. Okay, now do you think cellulite only happens in the fat people? No, it happens in whether you are fat or you are thin. Do you think it happens only in women? No, even men also have cellulite. Okay, so now, so ageLOC Body Trail is meant for cellulite issue and the other skin aging that I showed you just now. So do you think this body spa is going to make it? Yes, because everyone needs this product. Yeah? Okay, now then furthermore, if after you have gone through a tremendous weight loss, that's what happened to your skin. Your skin start to sag. Yeah? Gross, huh? Okay, now, so to support what we believe, data monitor, from this data monitor, you can see that there's actually a survey that's being done. So you can see from the survey, right, they actually asked whether you are satisfied or dissatisfied with your body appearance or your body shape. In fact, if you look at Asia Pacific, right, there are about 70% of them are not satisfied, right? They are dissatisfied. And if you look at whether they are concerned, okay, in fact, 80% of them are concerned, okay. However, only 19% of them do something about it. That means they already been using a product or go for treatment. There are 30% that they did something, okay. The 19% they don't care, okay. So the 50%, which is they have yet to take action. Okay, so what does this tell you is there are 50% of people out there waiting for us. Right? There are 50% of people out there waiting for us. Now, why do you think these people haven't taken any action? It could be maybe they think that it's expensive, because that's the norm, right? To go for the body treatment is expensive, okay? Or maybe they don't know which products to use. Yeah, because there are so many products out there, they get confused. So that's our job, to go out and then, share with them. Okay, now, so let me share with you a bit on how the skin ages on the body. Okay, so the skin on your face and our body ages the same. Okay, so as the skin dehydrates, you start to form lines and wrinkles. And what makes the skin on the body worsen is the fat cells that we have at the subcutaneous layer. Okay, now, so the fat cell at the subcutaneous layer, it actually releases estrogen, which is a female hormone. So men, you also have female hormone, right? Yeah, okay. So it really releases estrogen. So what does estrogen do is it actually stimulates your fibroblast, which is your factory that produce collagen and elastin, to produce a kind of enzyme called collagenase. So this collagenase actually break down your collagen and elastin. So it actually further break down your collagen and elastin. So when your collagen and elastin is break down, what happens is they cannot support your skin. Okay, so when they cannot support your skin, what happens? Your skin will push up. Okay, you will sag, right? So once it's sag, then the other part of your skin will then be pushed up. That's where it forms the cellulite appearance. Okay, then making it worse is the fat cell. Okay, it will start to swell. Okay, that means enlarge, become bigger. So if the fat cell become larger, what happens is it actually press on your capillaries, which is your blood vessels. Yes? Yeah, so when it press on your blood vessel, what's the purpose of your blood vessel is to transport nutrients to your cell, right, for metabolic, and also to remove waste. But when this is being pressed, what happens? They cannot do their job well. So you cannot have a good metabolic, you also cannot remove waste. Okay, that's where it causes your fat metabolism to decline, making your cellulite problem more prominent. Yeah? And, okay, now, so that's what we do. Okay, so we have identified a group of genes that are able to work on increase your circulation and make sure that you have a better good structure. Okay, then increase your hydration, and most importantly, increase your lipid metabolism. So that's what ageLOC Body Trail doing for you. Okay? Now, so we also did a lab test. So from the lab test, you can see, right? Okay, so once we put in the ageLOC blend, that's what it helps your skin to do. Okay, so areas that you need to upregulate, yeah, they will upregulate. Areas that need to downregulate, they actually downregulate for you. So that's how it's working on your skin. Okay, now, so body spa. So you'll be wondering, right? So what makes the body spa different compared to the current galvanic spa? Because you may have already has customer that already has the current one. So they will come and ask you, so do I need the body spa? Do I need to buy? Okay, so what will be your answer? Yes, you know why? Because the body spa is, first of all, the design is very different. So if you look at the conductor side, right, which is bigger, so it's going to deliver 10 times better result compared to the current one. So with the same time that you spend, 5 minutes, but now you are going to get 10 times better result. Wasn't it better? You save time. Yeah, just like our investment, okay? You get 10 times, what do you call it, 10 times interest, or, yeah, so we always go for those who give us better interest, right? So same as this. You are going to spend same time, but then you get better results, okay? And what else make the current one, the body spa different is the current that we used. Okay, so the current that we use is called the pulsating currents. Okay, now, what is pulsating currents? So pulsating current means the current actually move from two set of current. Okay, so you can see it actually go from a lower current to a higher current, a lower current, and a higher current. Compared to the current spa, is one set of current. Okay, so for those who have tried the current spa, you know, once you put the spa on your face, you hear 1 beep, 2 beep, or 3 beep, right? Okay, so let's say, for example, you have 2 beeps. So when you have 2 beep, means throughout your 5 minutes treatment, the current that is set at 2 beeps. That's for your current spa. But for the body spa, it actually can go up and go down. So it can go a larger current, a lower current, a larger current, a lower current. So we need that for your body because on your subcutaneous layer where your skin are thicker, so you need the vibration. So even though it has vibration effect, you don't feel the vibration. Right? You don't feel it, right? When you use the body spa, you don't feel the vibration. No. It just provide you a mild vibration that able to push the fluid so that they can move better. Okay? Now, so what's the benefits of having this physical vibration is that it causes your endothelium, which is your inner cells, to produce what we call nitric oxide. Okay, so when you have nitric oxide in your blood vessels, it actually causes the blood vessels to dilate. That means enlarge. So your blood vessel will enlarge. Remember just now, your circulation is poor because your blood vessel is being pressed. Now your blood vessel is being enlarged or dilate. So when your blood vessel is being enlarged, what happens? The circulation are better. So you are able to remove toxins, you are able to supply more nutrients to your cell so that the metabolism can be increased. So that's the function of the units, the instruments. Okay? So if your customer asks you, can I just buy the gel? Then I use the current one, the current spa. You are not going to get these benefits. Okay, because the current spa doesn't have these benefits. So it's best that you use the body spa, right? Okay, now. So body shaping gel. Body shaping gel, the ingredient is similar. So what we do is we actually add in extra or additional ingredients. Okay, so like for example, Laminera digitata. Laminera digitata is able to help your aging fibroblast cells, the cells that produce collagen and elastin, to produce more, to stimulate or synthesize the collagen production as a younger fibroblast cell. Okay, do you know, any one of you tried True Face Essence Ultra? Yes? Do you know the benefits of True Face Essence Ultra, right? That is to help your cells to act as they are young again so that they can produce more collagen. So this is similar. Okay, so this ingredient, it does the similar job as your True Face Essence Ultra, but for your body now. Wasn't that great? Yeah? Okay. Now, so to use your body shaping gel, you have to use with the spa instruments. Okay. Now, after that, after the 5 minutes, then you remove the gel, okay, with a damp cloth. Then you apply the dramatic effect. So the dramatic effect you don't have to use with the spa. Okay, so you use after that. Okay, so the dramatic effect has ingredient that helps to break down fats helps to break down fats and inhibits fats collections. Okay, that's what it do. Okay, so increase your fat metabolism. It also prevent collection of new fats. Yeah, so that's the purpose. And then it has honey extract. So what's the purpose of honey extract? Is for exfoliation. So it actually exfoliates, get away the old skin so that the ingredient can penetrate better. Okay. Now, so, and then we also add in a technology called optical technology. This is what providing you the cosmetic effect. Okay, so what we add in is the anti-shine ingredient. Now, why do we need anti-shine ingredient? Okay, now when you have cellulite on your skin surface, means your skin is uneven, right? So when your skin is uneven and you have light that shine on your skin, it casts shadows. So when you have cast shadows, means people will see more clearly on your uneven skin. So with this anti-shine effect ingredient, it is able to diffuse the light to multiple directions so that visibly you cannot see your uneven skin. Therefore, people cannot see your cellulite. So it's more for cosmetic effect. All right, it's more for cosmetic effect. I know we are very creative, so some of you will think, then where else can I use this product? Okay, now, okay, so how do you use this product? On your abdominal, okay, so you go circle, a small circle, yeah, clockwise. Then for your arms and thigh, okay, so that's for your inner arm and the inner thighs. Now we only collect cellulites on the inner arm, or the inner thigh. Okay, so you only need to do it here. You don't need to do it here on your upper arms or your upper thigh. You don't have to, because the cellulite will not accumulate here but accumulate here. So that's what where you need to do and spend your time. Okay. Now, so I'm going to okay. I get so kanjiong when I saw the time. Okay, now, so I'm going to show you a short demo of how to use the product. So we are glad that we have a very good volunteer. So shall I invite Xin Tian? Yeah? Can you please give a hand? Use the product. Yeah, I'll just show you how to use the product. Before we start, okay, before you use this at home, okay, we will suggest that you take a shower, and if you have the scrub, use the scrub, the Rufla, body Rufla, okay, because that will help you to remove the dead skin cells. Then when you do your body spa, it can absorb better. Yeah? Okay, now here, because we have short of time, so I will just use the wet tissue to clean. Yeah? So I'm going to do here. Okay, now, so what we do is, it's 5 minutes, right? So I apply the gel. Okay.
Can you ask Cynthia to stand up, please?
Oh, you can't see, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we move from circle, just a circle. Now, because the current will work for you, so you don't have to use all the energy that you have, right? So you don't have to make her suffer and you also suffer. If not, because if you use all the energy, how many people can you demonstrate? Right? Because you'll be so tired. So just enjoy and let her enjoy, okay? So you circle, then you press to the armpit. Okay, then you circle again. And then you press to the armpit. Now for those, if you don't like doing circle, what you can do is you can go straight, like this. Also can. Okay? So you are going to focus on the inner arm. Remember I told you? It's on the inner arm. So that means when I push in, I put a little bit of energy, but when I move out, it's just glide, yes? Do you feel the pain?
No.
I won't hurt her, and after the treatment, she will not have blue-black. Right? Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Just 5 minutes, and then just push in. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Now, so do you know the step now? Do you want to try for yourself? Okay, so you want to, so I'll let her try. Okay, do you want her to sit down or you want her to stand up? Stand. I'm sorry. Now, so you know why I asked her, let's say she is my customer, why I asked the customer to do it? Because I'm lazy? No. Because you want the customer to experience for themselves. And because it's direct current, right, so it's one way. Okay? So if we have too many people involved, the current circuit is going to be long. So we want to shorten the circle so that we want to maximize the result. So allow the customer to do on herself. And then she can also experience this. Yeah? Okay? So what you do is just push in. If you don't want to circle, you just push in. Push in with strength, a little bit of strength, some energy. Okay, then when it's out, you just glide out. Yeah? Okay, now, so while she's doing this, can I continue on my slide? Because it's 5 minutes. If you are tired, you can sit down. Yeah, if she's tired. I think we have live feed, so I think you can see on the screen, right?
Please let her see.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You want to see the live feed? Okay, never mind. So we'll wait for her. Now, so why push in? Okay, now even for your thigh also, when you do, right, you need to push in, push upwards. Now, why when you do massage, we need to push upwards? It's because which organ control your circulation is your heart, right? So where is your heart? Up here. So whatever we do, when we do massage, you have to push towards your heart. So when you push towards your heart, then it helps to improve the circulation better. Okay? Yeah? Now, so once it's finished, 5 minutes, yeah, what you do is you just wipe off, okay, tissue off, then, come, let me help. Now, when you tissue off, okay, yeah, you just use a wet tissue to tissue off the gel, then you can apply the dramatic effect. Yes? Now, so just now I say when she do, right, she press to the armpit. Now, why to the armpit? Why not stop halfway? Yeah, because we have lymph nodes. Okay, so even though this, in Nu Skin, we don't claim that this is this is not a medical device, right? Okay, because this is a cosmetic device, because we are a cosmetic company. Okay, so this is registered as cosmetic device. So therefore, we cannot mention anything about medical. Okay, but in the clinic, okay, in the clinic, if you go to aesthetic clinic, they use galvanic current to help for lymph detoxification. Okay, so that's one function or one benefit of galvanic current. Okay, so we want to benefit that as well. So that's why you press to the inner arm. Yeah, you are done. Now, so once you are done, you just clean off. Okay, so you can use a wet tissue or a wet cloth to wipe off. Then you massage the dramatic effect. Okay. So you just massage in. Then you just pat. That's all. So as simple as that, okay? So you just massage in, same, in with slight of energy. Okay, that's it. That's all we need. So as simple as that. Does it look very difficult to you? No, right? It's not, right? So that's how you can do. Okay, you want to show the other side? Okay. Can you see? Because here, initially her arm here is, what do you call that? Firmer here, okay? So, but here is more flabby. So that's why I choose to work on here. Yeah? Okay? So you can see the difference. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Xing Tian. Thank you. Sorry, my hand is sticky. Thank you. Okay, now so let's move forward. Huh? So remember I told you just now, with the same amount of time, which is 5 minutes, you are going to get 10 times better result because of the chrome. Okay, so now you have a bigger panel of the chrome. So therefore, it enhances the results. And then we have the groove. Can you see on the conductor, right? You see the groove. So the groove are able to capture the gel better so that you don't waste your gel. Okay? Now, however, as I told you just now, this is not a medical tool, right? So there are some precautions. For example, don't use on an open wound. Okay, so if you have just have a cesarean, then don't use it until you have recovered. Okay. Now, so for those who have the instrument, that's how you fix the rubber to the instrument. And there are some maintenance that you need to do. So you need to clean the gel each time you used. After you have complete each treatment, remove off the gel. So even though in the user manual it says you can rinse, but we suggest not to. Because a lot of time when you rinse, right, the direction that you hold the instrument, you actually allow the water to go into the units and then spoil the units. So now we say don't rinse, just use damp cloth to rinse, to wipe off. Okay? Now if you really say, I want to follow the instruction because the instruction says must rinse. then make sure there's a stopper inside, right? Don't remove your stopper. Huh? Okay, you remove your battery, okay? You want to rinse, remove your battery but put back the stopper, then only rinsed. Okay? Now, okay, then we have conducted some studies on the body trail. So what we do is we have a group of people that use the product and then we send them to the third-party clinical graders. Okay? Now, so this is the result that we got from them. So 85% of the participants, they actually show improvements on their arms and abdominal, and then 96% actually shown improvement on the thigh. Okay? And the clinical graders, they also do grading. That means based on their professional, they do grading for these subjects. So you can see the grading as is divided into 8 weeks and 12 weeks. So the one highlight in white box is 8 weeks, the one highlight in blue box is 12 weeks. So you can see in terms of the upper arm, the inner arms, right? So they can see after 8 weeks they see lifting effects. Then same for abdominal and thigh, they see these are the benefits that they see after 8 and 12 weeks. Okay. Now, then we also collect photo. So they do digital photography. So these are the photos that we collect with the same group of test subject. So you can see, the improvements on the cellulite actually, quite visible. Yeah, after 8 weeks. Okay, again, testimonial is very important, right, for our business. So we have very good people, they are willing to sacrifice their one arm. Right, so they do on one arm. Okay, so that's, you can see that's the testimonials that we have collected so far. Okay, so I believe, you know, you will have more. Okay, you have more of this. Okay, so what you need to do is you just need to do it. Yeah, so most of them actually did for 2 months. Okay, did for 2 months. Okay, and the usage will be 3 times a week, twice a day. Okay, 3 times a week, twice a day, and then you can do your scrub once a week. Okay, so to collect your testimonial is really important. Okay, so this is from US, so you can see they do on your abdominal. Right? Now, so you must learn how to collect testimonial, yeah, because that speaks for you, yeah, help you to convince our customer better. Okay, so you will take your photo before you uses the product, then 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months after you take the products. Okay, so if you are there, you can do on one arm or half face. Yeah, okay. Now, so lastly, before it's time's up. Okay. Now, my last two sharing with you is to share with you how this product can best complement what you are doing right now. Okay, so if for those who are doing SOI, that means you are duplicating on SOI, how you can leverage on this is you leverage on your current database. Now, those who buy SOI, right, the secret of youth, right? Those who buy SOI, do you think they have the needs in appearance? Yeah, they are worried about appearance. That's why they buy SOI, right? They also need see the product. They have benefited from the products. So I'm sure you go back to them and then tell them, you know, now we have ageLOC Body Spa. I'm sure they are happy to try because they have the concern. That's why they buy SOI. So you just need to leverage on the database. That's all. Okay, for those who purchase SOI. Now, for those who want TRA, how does this best complement your TRA? Okay. Now remember, you don't promote this as a slimming product because to slim down or weight management is more comprehensive. You need a program like TRA, but it does best complement TRA because you see we have 2 kinds of fats, right? One on your internal organ fats, one is on your subcutaneous fats. So your TRA is going to work on your internal organ fats, but the body trail is going to work on your subcutaneous fat. So that's how they work hand in hand. Okay? All right, so that's it from me. I hope I've shared what you need. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy, and also let's give Cynthia a round of applause for her courage, you know, to come on stage to show you her arms, right? Okay, I believe you are very excited about ageLOC Body Trial after seeing so much and looking at the testimonial. So keep your excitement with you as we are going to hear from another great speaker. He flew all the way from United States. Okay, he is the Senior Director of Technical Communication for Pharmanex Research and Development. He involves in numerous launch of Pharmanex products and programs for new skin, including the award-winning Bath Photonic Scanner. If you manage to get your palm to be scanned on the Bath Photonic Scanner, you should thank him for it. And also for those of you who have been leveraging on the TRA weight management program, he's also involved in the powerful launch of TRA in 2007 in Singapore and helps to create many millionaires in South Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to give you a warm welcome to Mr. Glenn Cheney on stage.
Thank you for the warm welcome. It's so nice to be here. I have one question for Chewy. Do I get a beautiful girl to come up on stage to massage? It's only fair. If Nancy got one, I should get one too. Okay. Oh, more than one. This is getting better. Well, certainly a pleasure to be with you today. And I'm excited to talk to you about the launch of the ageLOC R². And I want to make sure that you go home understanding how ageLOC R squared is different from other products out there, especially how the ageLOC approach is different from the way that our competitors approach gene-based technology. So we're going to start out with a quiz, see how smart you are. So pull out those brains that you've been getting sharper using ageLOC Vitality, and maybe even some of you using ageLOC R squared. So the first question is, we've got this new launch. How do you say the name of the product? R squared. It's R squared. It is not R2. And I only tell you this because some people talk about ageLOC R2. The reason we have the name R squared is that it's a mathematical term, right? So the number, let's take 3 squared versus 3, 2. Do you see that 3 squared is 3 times 3? It's exponential. Whereas 3, 2 is just 3 times 2. And R squared is an exponential product. Now, do you know what the 2 R's are when we talk about R squared? Renew and recharge. And the reason we call it R squared is because by supporting the renew aspect of a cell, you enhance the recharge aspect of the cell. And by supporting the recharge aspect of the cell, you support the renew aspect of the cell. So it's very mutually supporting. All right, let's take a look at the second question here. The ingredients in R squared are the same ageLOC ingredients that we use in the galvanic and body shaping gels, just in an edible form. Is that right? No. Sometimes people say that is the case, but totally different ingredients target different tissues in different ways. All right, third question. Which of the following, let's see, ageLOC does which of the following? So does it identify the specific genes that are related to aging? Yes? Okay. How about does it correct genetic disorders by repairing mutated genes? No, it does not do that. And then does it provide a unique business opportunity for our distributors? Yes, okay. So you're right, we've got A, C, and B is not correct. What would we have to say to make B correct? How would we have to change that to make... Yeah, it resets genes, but it doesn't change mutated genes. Once a gene is mutated, at least at this point in time, there's no way to do that. Maybe there's some medical treatments that people are working on, but... so just be sure that you don't tell people that we're changing the genes. All right, question number 4. Let's see. ageLOC ingredients reset which of the following? Genes, gene expression. Okay, that's very important because sometimes I hear people talk about the change that we have on genes. It's actually a change on gene expression. Genes don't change. You don't want them to change. Unless you're like an X-Man and you're going to mutate. So, yeah. So it's gene expression. Okay, so question number 5. Competitor companies cannot make products that target gene expression. True or false? That's false. They can make gene-based products. But by the time we're done visiting here today, I hope you'll understand what it is that they can't do because the ageLOC approach is so different from the traditional approach. All right, one final question. What does the term genetic expression mean? Now this isn't one that you can easily shout from there and I'll understand because I'll have 300 different answers and I won't hear exactly what you're saying. But what gene expression is very key to understanding what ageLOC is all about. So it can be understood quite simply. We'll take a look at, anyone know this gentleman? Joe Chang. Age 9, very good. Some people have read his book because this picture comes directly from his book. So Joe, just as all of us, has the same DNA as 9-year-old Joe as he does as 82-year-old Joe? No? I don't know how old Joe is, but But we keep the same DNA throughout our life. What's different is the way our genes express. And you can get kind of complex when you're talking about genetic expression. But this leads to the next question I have for you is the most important aspect of your business is if something is duplicatable, right? If you can't make the story of Nu Skin products or Pharmanex products duplicatable, your businesses will never grow. It doesn't matter how fantastic the products are if you can't make it duplicatable. And so this is important. I'm going to share with you today a lot of things that aren't even intended to be duplicatable. But let me show you what is duplicatable when you're talking about gene expression. This is a very duplicatable explanation of gene expression. Some of you have heard us talk about your genetic symphony. So when we talk about your genetic symphony, obviously you have thousands of genes. In fact, you have somewhere between 20 and 25,000 genes as part of your genetic makeup. Well, the genes don't change, but the expression changes. Just like in a symphony, the instruments don't change, but over time they come out of tune. And the music doesn't sound very good after maybe several decades. What do you have to do when an instrument is out of tune? You go in and you retune it. And that's what ageLOC does, is when your genetic symphony comes out of tune, ageLOC goes in and retunes it so that you have that beautiful music again. Now, that's not very scientific, but it is very duplicatable. The rest of our presentation, we're going to get kind of into the scientific details, and I hope you have fun with that, and I hope it helps you understand how ageLOC is really working. But when it comes to duplicating your business, focus on simple explanations on gene expression. So the instrument is the source, but the music is the expression. And that's same as genes being the source and gene expression being the way that they're expressing themselves. So here at the center of the cell we have our chromosomes, our DNA. They contain all the information that it takes to make you and me. And every cell in your body has a full copy of your DNA. One cell out of your body has enough information to make a whole new you. And it's absolutely fascinating that each cell contains all that information. If you were to take all the DNA in your cell and stretch it out, it would be about 40 centimeters long. All the information to make you fits on a little tiny thread of DNA like that. Very amazing. And if we were to stretch out that thread, we could take a look at individual genes along the line there. And so when we talk about DNA, we take these chromosomes, we stretch them out, and small segments of them are different genes. And I want you to think about a gene as the information for creating a building block of your body. So because you have 20 to 25,000 genes, that means there's 20 to 25,000 different building blocks for making you. And if we were to take one of these genes and show you how it expresses this purple gene. They're not really purple inside of you, but the one that I've marked here as being purple, it produces a product. And like Nancy said, this might be something like melanin. And when you have melanin, do you want low or high expression of that? You want low expression. And so we might say that this is youthful expression of melanin. It's very low, and that's very desirable. Well, if we take another example of collagen, collagen is a building block that makes it so your body holds itself together. If I didn't have collagen in my skin, I could pull myself apart like bread. So you want collagen to hold you together, gives you that nice firm characteristic. So do you want high expression or low expression of collagen? Right. So the thing that I'm trying to explain here is when we talk about gene expression is it's not that low is always good or high is always good, but whatever the expression was when you were young is what you want that expression to do. You want to reestablish youthful expression. So we'll take an example here. The same genes we were looking at before. I've got gene 1 and gene 2, and both of these I'm showing to you as youthful expression. Well, with age, gene expression can change. Now, has the DNA itself changed? No. But the expression has. And so you're making more melanin and you're making less collagen. And that brings about some characteristics that you see that go along with aging. Now, these are just two examples, but there's thousands of different genes that are changing as you age. But what if you could reset them? Just like the genetic symphony, if you could retune all of those genes so they start to play, they did when you were young. Well, right here I'm going to introduce to you some colors, and I think you've seen this color scale before. Nancy showed you a color scale that was blue, yellow to red, and my color scale is just green to red. They mean the exact same things. You could pick whatever colors you want to, because these colors represent either low or high expression. And you can see that there's a gradation of expression, whether, let's see, so taking a look at the melanin when we're youthful, you see how it's expressed at a very low level, and so we choose one of the lighter green colors. And then as we age, for melanin, we show the gene expression has increased, so it's represented by the color red. And then we kind of see the reverse there. So never think that green is good and red is bad, or red is good and green is bad. It's neither. What you always want to do is reestablish the way it was being expressed when you were young. So remember this color scale, because you're going to see it throughout the rest of the presentation. Green means low expression, red means high expression. Well, let's go ahead and compare the traditional approach of understanding gene expression and resetting or influencing that gene expression to the ageLOC approach. And to do that, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. So we're going to talk about the traditional approach right there on the left side of the screen and the ageLOC approach on the right side of the screen. So I've got to start out by telling you a little bit of history that applies to both sides. Back in 1983, scientists started to try to decode or to sequence the human genome. Now, the human genome is constructed of an alphabet of 4 different letters. You don't need to worry about this, but I'll tell you it's A, T, G, C. And those nucleotides, they're responsible for all the genetic diversity that you see in this room, just those 4 letters. That's a very elegant language for 4 letters to be able to do so many different things. Well, after 20 years of working on this project of sequencing the human genome, they finally were able to come up with the complete cracked code of the human genome. And this is what it looked like. Well, so this is actually just a very, very tiny fraction of it, because you could fill libraries and libraries with books of this type of information. Now, what does that tell you about aging? Absolutely nothing. It was a little disappointing, because we spent billions of dollars to research this out. And when they finally cracked the code, just a few years ago, we finally finished it in 2003. When I say we, I'm talking about the scientific community. They just had all this information, and it didn't mean a thing. Well, when you have whole libraries full of nothing but this information, this 4 alphabet information, that's a lot of information, and that paralyzed the traditional genetic approach. There was just too much information. They didn't know where to begin. They didn't know how to interpret it. But the ageLOC approach had something very unique. It was the LifeGen Rosetta Stone. Now, how many of you have heard of the Rosetta Stone before? A couple of you? So let me tell you, let's get everybody on the same page here. We're looking at Egyptian hieroglyphics. Now, archaeologists had been discovering ancient Egyptian ruins for actually hundreds of years, and they were finding these hieroglyphics. But how long do you think you'd have to study that before you'd understand what it meant? I hear people saying hundreds of years, forever. It wouldn't matter how long you stared at it. There's nothing intuitive about those hieroglyphics that allow you to say, oh, I know what that means now. I've been looking at it long enough. I know what it means. Just like with the human genome sequence, you have to have something to compare it to. You have to have something to help make meaning out of all this information. Well, so for hundreds of years, archaeologists had been finding ancient Egyptian ruins with some of these writings on it, but they didn't know what it meant. But in 1799, they discovered something known as the Rosetta Stone. And it's interesting, they actually found it as a stone that had been built into the floor of a building. So at one time, thousands of years earlier, it was somewhat of a billboard. It has a message on it, a public message on it, written in 3 different languages. The 3 languages written there happen to be the Egyptian hieroglyphics, ancient Greek, and another language known as demonic. Well, guess what? Ancient Greek was ancient, but there were people who still knew how to decipher what ancient Greek was. Now you're able to compare the 2, right? Because you've got a language that you understand compared to a language that you don't understand. Now do you have the ability to make meaning out of those ancient hieroglyphics? And that's what, when I talk about the LifeGen Rosetta Stone, that's really what I'm talking about. And this is how we came up with a Rosetta Stone to make sense of all that genetic information that had paralyzed the traditional approach. So we had to start with a very diverse population. And believe it or not, between these 7 different strains of mice, there is more genetic diversity between those 7 strains of mice than the genetic diversity between everyone in this room. So there's more differences between those seven different strains of mice than between all of us here in this room. So we thought that if we could find similarities between these 7 strains of mice that are more diverse than you and me, if we could find similarities between them, that might help us understand similarities between you and me. And so what we did is we took a look at, as these different strains of mice age, different numbers of their genes change. Now it's interesting, you and me have about 20 to 25,000 different genes. A mouse actually has around 30,000 genes. A little surprising, huh? You would think smaller animal and so fewer numbers, but it's not the case. But for every gene that a mouse has, there is a comparable one, or I might need to say that the other way around. For every gene we as humans have, a mouse either has that exact same gene or it has an analogous gene, a gene that does the exact same thing for us. So they're surprisingly a very good species for us to study to understand gene expression in humans. So here across these 7 different strains of mice, we looked first at their entire genome, all 30,000 genes in each one, how many of those 30,000 genes changed with aging. And you can see that in the different strains of mice, different genes change. It's not the same as you go from mouse to mouse to mouse. So we were interested again in finding the genes that were common between each of them. And so what I'm showing you here is the exact same heat maps as above. We were able to identify genes that were the same across all 7 strains, and they became what we referred to as supermarkers of aging. And what we know is that even though all of these strains of mice are very different, is that no matter which one we're talking about, when they age, we can always count on these 10 to 15 genes changing in their expression as they age. Now it gets a little more complex than just this, because as you go from tissue to tissue, so brain tissue, heart tissue, muscle tissue, fat tissue, you name it, genes kind of age differently. And so we had to look at different tissues to understand what these supermarkers of aging were in each tissue. But that established a Rosetta Stone for us, because we know that if these genes are changing, these are the genes that change with aging, we're able to begin to understand all that information that we have with the human genome sequence. And so where the traditional approach was paralyzed, we have the Rosetta Stone, which are these supermarkers of aging. They allow us to very quickly make sense of all that genetic data. Well, because the traditional approach was so paralyzed, they have a very slow approach. But I want to show you something that's absolutely fascinating. This is something that all scientists understand. It's one of Mother Nature's most amazing accomplishments. It's the way that Mother Nature packages DNA into every single cell, very, very tightly. So much information tightly into each cell. So right there you see the double helix structure. You're all probably very familiar with the double helix structure of DNA. Well, what happens is that DNA gets wrapped around kind of like spools. If any of you sew, you know how you wrap your string around a spool, because you don't want to open up your drawer and just have a drawer full of string all over the place. So your DNA is kind of packaged in the same way. It's wrapped around these spools. They're known as histones. And now watch what happens. This is called the supercoil structure of DNA. So we take the DNA that's wrapped around the spool, just a small amount. It's not wrapped over and over again. It's just a small amount. And then that is coiled like a telephone cord. And then that telephone cord structure gets coiled again. That's why it's called the supercoil structure. And then all of that gets kind of spaghettied into the chromosome. And keep in mind, you've got 23 of these chromosomes in each of your cells. That's a lot of information, very, very densely packed. And when I'm thinking about something being densely packed, it kind of reminds me of my suitcase that I had to pack when I came here. Because you've all been in the same situation where you pack your bag really, really good. It's packed really tight with all the things you need. And then all of a sudden, you remember, oh, I need one thing out of the very center of my bag. What do you have to do? You unpack the whole thing, or you mess up your whole perfect packing system. And every single time you pack and unpack and pack and unpack your suitcase, it gets messier and messier. Well, there's something very similar that happens with DNA. But because of this supercoil structure, it's easy to just unpack a small segment of your DNA. Because you have to unpack that DNA for you to access the information to make the products. Remember, we were talking about melanin is the expression of a gene, or collagen is the expression of a gene. Before you are able to access the recipe that's written on that gene, you have to unpack it. And you can see that this structure of wrapping a small amount of DNA around a histone makes it so you only have to unpack a very small segment of it. And it's one of the most amazing accomplishments of Mother Nature. But what happens over time, just like our suitcase, as you unpack a segment of DNA and pack it up again and unpack it and pack it up again, sometimes it doesn't pack quite as tightly. And as you look at this image right here, I don't know if it looks a little frayed to you. It looks like a little fuzzy. And that's because that as we age, our DNA has been packed and unpacked and packed and unpacked, and it starts to not pack as tightly. And that exposes it a little more to free radicals, and that causes it to age. In fact, a very important discovery was made several years ago. Again, this is something that scientists in general understand, not just something that pharmaceutical scientists understand, that when your cell wants to get into the information on a gene, it has to kind of open up those spools. And so it puts these little red things, or I'm showing it as red, they're known as acetyl groups, and it kind of opens up this densely packed DNA, and it's able to get in and copy that. Well, when it's done, you want to pack it back tight again, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Well, caloric restriction has the ability to upregulate something known as sirtuins. And sirtuins have the ability to go remove those red acetyl groups so that they're able to compact again, so that they're not hanging out loosely and exposed to free radicals, bringing on some of the changes that come with aging. And so caloric restriction is a great way to extend lifespan. One of the amazing discoveries genetic scientists have made is that by reducing your calories 30 to 40%, you can live longer. Now, how many of you would like to eat 30 to 40% less calories? Okay, a few people of you. And there are people on this planet who say, okay, I can do that if I get to live longer. And not only do you live longer, but you live healthier. You have less disease on a calorically restricted diet. Now, it's important to understand that when we say calorically restricted, I'm just talking about calories. You restrict your calories. You lower the amount of calories you take in, but you continue to receive the same amount of nutrients. Because if you just eat less food, you don't live longer. That's important, and we'll come back to that a bit later. But there's a downside. So you live longer. Of course, the downside is that you can't eat as much, and some of us like to eat. But there's another thing. You lose fertility. You're not able to propagate your species anymore. Now, how many of you would like to live longer but not have children to love? One person raised their hand? No. I'm kidding. Nobody raised their hand. Well, so this was a very exciting discovery that scientists made. And remember, they're paralyzed by all this data, and they don't have a Rosetta Stone to understand all this information. So what do you think all scientists on the planet did? They all congregated around this, and they started studying this and only this. And so that's one thing that makes the ageLOC approach quite different, is they're just approaching, as they're trying to understand the human genome, they're really just looking at one or a few genes, and typically it happens to be these sirtuins that I was talking about, the sirtuins that remove those red acetyl groups that make it so it pack in. It's a very exciting discovery, but that's what everybody else is doing. LifeGen and the ageLOC approach is different because we have these supermarkers of aging. We're able to look at not just one or two genes, but we're able to look at whole clusters of genes. And these gene clusters typically comprise about 20 to 50 or 60 different genes that work together to support youthfulness. And so this is, again, just another way that the ageLOC approach is different. Well, so traditional approach, they're paralyzed, they're only looking at one gene or so, and so it's very complex, it's very slow. They're trying to understand every little tiny thing about each gene or the way it expresses before they can move on. Well, with ageLOC approach, we decided to do things quite differently. We were going to keep it simple by simply putting things back the way they were. And this is how I like to explain it. How many of you have kids? All right, a lot of you. Have you ever left the house and it was in perfect condition, and when you came back it wasn't in perfect condition anymore? Yeah, when I was a kid, the same thing happened. Our mom and dad would go out for a night, and we would start to play. And so let's say that there was a perfect room, but we started to make forts out of the cushions on the couch. We started to move things around. A painting gets knocked out of place, but all of a sudden, we can hear mom and dad driving up and the garage door is opening. What do we have to do? We have to quickly just put things back in the right place. Now, does it matter why my mom and dad decided to put the painting right there, or why the chair is that particular way? No. I just have to get it back exactly the way it was before they walk back in. And then everything is just fine. Sometimes it worked out. But the same thing happens with the ageLOC approach. We have to know what it was, and then it gets all messed up through aging. And then our job isn't to worry about every little tiny detail of what each of those genes does. We only have to worry about reestablishing the expression of those genes so that it's put back the way it was. All we're doing is we're putting the room back the way it was when mom and dad left. And so this is an example. So you see that you've got the young gene expression and the old gene expression. You see how those genes are changed. Well, then what we do is we begin to feed different ingredients to different individuals to see if those ingredients have an influence on genetic expression. And so as you look across there, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are 5 different ingredients. And the influence they had on 52 different genes that are related to cellular energy. So this happens to be our cellular energy youth gene cluster. Of all of those ingredients, those 5 ingredients, which one did the best job resetting back to youthful expression? 4, yeah. And so, so that certainly was an ingredient that became part of the formula for ageLOC R squared. That's how we select ingredients. So this is important because sometimes you might have people looking at the bottle and they say, oh, I can go get this ingredient someplace else. Well, we didn't select that ingredient for the same reason that another company did. And the ingredient actually might be quite different because remember, it's an extract. So we're taking out certain molecules from the root or the original fruit. We're taking them out, and we might be selecting different molecules to achieve this type of response. That doesn't mean another ingredient that has the same name is going to do the same thing because we've extracted special things. So whenever we select an ingredient, when someone says, well, why did you pick this ingredient to be in an ageLOC product? Well, the answer is always the same. Because it reset the gene expression of the genes that we were interested in for this particular youth gene cluster. This youth gene cluster is cellular energy. Well, this ingredient did a great job resetting the expression of these genes related to cellular energy. Well, so It is a funny angle to try to read. Let's step down here real fast. Oh, focuses on one ingredient at a time. The traditional approach really can't move any faster than that. Because everything's so complex, they don't have a Rosetta Stone, they're looking at one ingredient at a time. We're able to screen for dozens and dozens of ingredients at a time. And not only do we are we able to screen for those dozens of ingredients, but we store that data, and that actually works in to something else that we'll be talking to you about. So then there's a fallacy that the traditional approach uses. They kind of have a mindset, they're dealing with such a complex approach that they think that if they see gene expression changes in one tissue, they assume that those same expression changes are happening in all tissues. And that's simply not the case. And we'll show some of that later. Well, we're looking in multiple tissues, and we also do another background check. It's known as pathway analysis. Perhaps a little too complex for the few short minutes we have to discuss here, but it really makes sure that any of the gene expression changes that we're bringing about with our ageLOC ingredients aren't changing the way the body's supposed to work. So someone might say, that sounds a little scary to change the way genes are expressing themselves. Well, we have this background check of looking at pathway analysis that gives us the assurance that we're not changing the way the body works. Well, so then we have this LifeGen gene database. And maybe some of you have heard us talk about the LifeGen gene database, but I want you to understand what that means, because it might very well be the coolest thing about the fact that we have now merged and acquired LifeGen technologies, because we now own their database. And this is what I mean. So here we are, we're going to go inside the database. I know I just showed this to you, and this is just one example of what you would find. Remember that I said that a mouse has 30,000 genes? Well, how many am I looking at here? 52. There's only 52 genes to the youth gene cluster related to cellular energy. So we're looking at 52 genes in 7 different biological conditions here. So one of the biological conditions is youthfulness, one is aging, and then the 5 other biological conditions are a treatment of different ingredients. So you've got 52 genes you're looking at, and the effect that those 5 different ingredients had on those 52 genes. Well, what about the 29,950 other genes? Well, that all goes to the LifeGen gene database, because maybe, let's take ingredient number 5. It didn't do so well in reestablishing cellular energy, but what if in the future we want to take a look at a youth gene cluster related to slimming? And we find out that ingredient number 5 does a fantastic job in fat tissue at helping with slimming. Now, we weren't looking at fat tissue. This happens to be muscle tissue. And so don't look at ingredient number 5 and think, oh, it must be a bad ingredient. All we know is that it doesn't reestablish youthful expression of genes related to cellular energy. Does that make sense? And so, in this gene database, look what ends up happening. You've got 30,000 genes per genome, because this happens to be mice genome that we're looking at. 5 individuals, so if you look down the columns in each, let's take number 5 for example, you can see there's 5 different columns in number 5. Each one of those columns is an individual. So you've got 30,000 genes, 5 individuals per ingredient treated. You've got 7 different biological conditions, right? So young, old, 5 different ingredients. And then you've got 10 to 15 tissues. That all of this information is going into that database. So all of that adds up. Anyone really good with math, able to multiply all of that? I'm really good with math. Let's see. Oh, it's 10 million. That's 10 million data points. So in the future, when we're looking at new products, when we've identified different youth gene clusters related to something other than cellular energy, we're able to very quickly go back and say, well, what about those hundreds of other ingredients we've looked at? Are there some of those ingredients that might be effective in a slimming product or a memory product or something like that? So by keeping all this data, we're able to make cooler ageLOC products faster than the competition. The competition can never copy us because of the LifeGen Rosetta Stone that we have, those supermarkers of aging, and the fact that we've got this gene database, and we're going to be able to make really neat products very quickly. Well, so there's that database, the competition, what do they have? Well, they certainly have information, but they're accumulating it very slowly. They're not able to accumulate all this data. They're just light years behind us. Okay, well, final one, what do we have in the ageLOC approach? We have life gen scientists. And this really does mean something quite important. This happens to be Dr. Rick Weindrich. There is no person on the planet who understands life extension better than Rick Weindrich does. He understands caloric restrictions effect and many different ingredients effect on life extension. Whenever there's a TV program about extending life or aging, they always have him on. If there's any scientist on this planet who wants to understand life extension, they always look to the work that Dr. Rick Weindrich produces. He is the smartest individual on the planet. And who does he work for? He works for you. You guys are the new skin distributors, and he's now working for you to create products that help to reestablish youth. So that's something kind of cool, because when we take a look at what kind of scientists that the traditional approach uses, they might be very intelligent people, but they think like that. On the other side, they think very complexly. They don't have this Rosetta Stone to allow them to move forward very rapidly. So I hope that comparison helps you understand what makes the ageLOC approach very different from the traditional approach, because there are other products out there that are taking a gene-based approach, but they're looking at one or a very few genes, and they're all doing the same thing. None of them are using youth gene clusters, and none of them have this data bank that allows them to formulate very quickly. Well, all of this leads to the ageLOC tool. And tools allow you to do a lot of things. You can build things with tools, and so with the ageLOC tool, we build ageLOC products. But it's really tempting. You can do something else with tools. You can go back and fix old things. And so when we had all this information, and we knew the success that you were having with the TRA system here, do you think we were kind of interested to use the ageLOC tool to find out what was going on? Well, that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're digging into the gene effects or the gene expression effects of TRA. And that's going to lead to the next generation of TRA. But that's 2 years away. So get excited. But right now I want you to get excited about ageLOC R². And you'll notice that it's different from other products because it's delivered in 2 different bottles. We don't have other products like that. And you've got an ageLOC R² day and an ageLOC R² night. And they work on different youth gene clusters, and you understand that the R² day is all about supporting healthy levels of mental, physical, and sexual vitality. And then the R² night is supporting the cell processes of purification. It's interesting, our bodies purify while we're asleep. So there's a whole reason that we have to shut down for about 8 hours, because our bodies naturally use that night time, that rest period, to purify the cells. Well, as I've explained, we take a look at different youth gene clusters, and we identified 2 different youth gene clusters in the creation of ageLOC R². So there's, on top, we're looking at a youth gene cluster related to cellular energy and cellular purification. Well, I know that you have not received the ageLOC Vitality in this market, and so really ageLOC R² is the first introduction. But I have a feeling that most of the audience is familiar with the R² day concept of resetting cellular energy. So I'm going to focus most of my time on purification, because we have somewhat limited time. Well, when I talk about toxins, people tend to automatically think about environmental toxins, right? You think about pollution in the air and what that's doing to you. And it's true, that is a factor. But did you know that every single day as your cells are going about making energy, they have a byproduct of making toxins within your own body? Now, you know, there's no way around it. As you produce energy, you always produce a toxin as a byproduct. But good thing, your body actually has the ability to clean the cells of these byproducts. So notice that on the top I've got cellular waste, and then we've got healthy cell structures. That could be all sorts of things. So I just kind of drew it in there in a funny shape. But those toxins can actually create, they can put damage on these cell structures, and then those cell structures no longer work. And not only do they no longer work, but they can actually become toxins themselves. And so it's kind of like a domino effect of a toxin creating other toxins, and that accumulates in your cells. Think of it kind of like your kitchen sink, that as dirty dishes build up, you can't do anything in your kitchen any longer, right? So a kitchen, if it's all clean, you can do lots of things. You can bring your groceries in, you can organize them, you can prepare a meal. But if your kitchen sink builds up with dirty dishes, then pretty soon your countertop gets filled with dirty dishes, and all of a sudden your kitchen is no longer productive to do anything. So there's this relationship between accumulation of junk in a cell and how productive a cell can be. And that relates back to how youthful a cell can be. Well, so as we were looking at the genes that would play a part in this purification youth gene cluster, we were looking for genes related that had the ability to remove cellular toxins, repair the damage that they create on cell structures, protect against the damage, or repair the damage once it's created. So that's how we put together the youth gene cluster related to purification. And as I said, this is really an age-related phenomenon. So there, as you look there on the left, you see cellular purification mechanisms. Well, when we're young, our cellular purification mechanisms of removing, protecting, or repairing, those mechanisms are expressed at a very high level. And so we're able to keep up with the sources of toxin. But there's two different sources of toxin. You see the red there on the bottom, that's environmental toxins. And then the purple is intrinsically created toxins, the toxins our bodies create. Well, as we age, the genes related to cellular purification mechanisms, they become down-regulated, and so they can't keep up with the dirty dishes. All of a sudden, the dirty dishes start building up in the cell. And so even though the environmental exposure of toxins might remain the same throughout your life, because you're no longer able to clean it out, it starts to accumulate. Do you see how this is age-related and not just environmental-related? So by resetting the genes related to cellular purification, we're able to restore a pure state of those cells. Well, I think all of you are very familiar with this diagram that shows that ageLOC allows us to get at the genetic sources. And at the very center, what we were looking at as we formulated this are the two different youth gene clusters related to cellular energy and cellular purification. And let me show you that as you support those, it helps you to feel recharged and renewed. That's the R squared, right? Well, when we're youthful, these two youth gene clusters have a mutually reinforcing effect. So as your body produces, as your cells produce enough cellular energy, that cellular energy can be used to support purification mechanisms, because whatever your cell does, it requires energy to do it. If you're going to do the dishes, it takes energy to do the dishes and clear out all that accumulation. So by producing cellular energy, you're able to support the cellular purification. And by keeping the cell clean, you make it easier for the cell to make energy. Does that make sense, how they're related together? And so you get that recharged and renewed effect. Well, as we age, it kind of plays back the other way. Now all of a sudden, we don't have enough cellular energy to support cell purification, which means the dishes don't get done. And so it starts to build up, it starts to accumulate inside the cell, and that makes it more and more difficult for the cell to produce energy, and that has a negative effect back on cellular purification. So what happens is you reduce your ability to feel recharged and renewed. So those two systems work together, they support each other. Well, the whole idea with ageLOC, of course, is to reestablish that relationship between cellular energy and cellular purification, so that you get those youthful levels of feeling recharged and renewed. And that's what ageLOC R squared is doing. Well, do you think you understand ageLOC R squared a little bit better? Yeah. Okay. I thought it might be fun to talk about a few reasons that R squared is a perfect complement to the TRA system. Now keep in mind that R squared was not formulated to be a weight loss product, but that doesn't mean that there aren't some benefits that go along splendidly with the TRA system. So I'm going to talk about 5 reasons. Remember that we discussed this whole concept of caloric restriction? Now, remember I said it was caloric restriction without nutrient restriction. So you're eating less calories while maintaining the same level of nutrients. And this is one of the findings of caloric restriction research, is that if you simply reduce the amount of food that the animal is eating, they don't live longer. But if you reduce the food, the calories, while maintaining nutrients, they do live longer. And you just don't get youthful gene expression by reducing the amount of food. You have to maintain the amount of calories. So what do we do with the TRA system? Well, we make sure that you get Life Pack with it. So as you're reducing your calories that you're taking in, you're maintaining optimal levels of nutrients. And you can see here in the blue line there is showing you the lifespan of a normal mouse. How much that a normal mouse, just eating a normal amount of food every single day, lives to, well, 100% of its normal lifespan. Well, if you reduce calories by 25%, the orange line, it increases their lifespan by 13%. If this were human data, it's not human data, but if it were human data, that would be like increasing your lifespan 10 years by eating 25% less calories. Okay, well now let's reduce calories by 55%. 55% extends lifespan and 30 years in total beyond the typical lifespan. That's a lot. That's eating less than half that you normally eat. But they live the human equivalent of 30 years longer. That's very impressive. But remember, that has to be done with adequate nutrients being present, and Life Pack is always present when you're taking TRA. What's amazing, though, is by restricting your calories by 55%, you think they'd be really skinny mice, huh? Well, don't think that they're fat mice. They're just healthy mice. So you can see there on the left-hand side, the mice that were eating just regular amount. They were eating more than the mice that are on the right side. So this is at the end of the natural lifespan of this mouse. It's 40 months. And the mice that are on the right-hand side, those are the mice that were calorically restricted, 55%. Pretty amazing. They look younger too, don't they? So not only did they live longer, but they live healthier. They deal with fewer diseases. So that's point number 1. Point number 2 of why R squared is such a great complement to TRA is it increases the amount of, or your endurance. So you can see in this slide, compared to individuals that weren't receiving R squared day, those who are receiving R squared day, they had 63% increased endurance while running on a treadmill. Do you know anyone who, as they're reducing their calories because they're on a diet, they complain about not having enough energy? Great product to deliver along with the TRA system. Now, the other thing, this is fascinating. Did you know that when we're young, our bodies are really good at burning fat? We metabolize fat very effectively. But as we age, our bodies no longer metabolize fat. It shifts and we start to metabolize, well, it still metabolizes fat, but not as effectively. But it shifts to metabolizing carbohydrates more effectively. When you see a child that's obese, that child did not get obese by eating fat. He got obese by eating lots of sugar, because children metabolize fat very effectively. But because of aging, the genes related to fat metabolism, they change in their expression levels, and that makes it so we don't metabolize fat very effectively. Well, one of the ingredients in R squared day reestablishes the fat metabolism, and it makes it so instead of being up here in the carbohydrate burning zone, it makes it so that you, even though you're older, you reestablish some of that fat metabolism burning. That's a great benefit to go along with the TRA system. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you, oh, that's right, purification. So we've got the R squared night is all about supporting purification. When you're losing weight, remember that the energy is coming from the fatty acids that you've stored on your body. So your fat cells, they release the fatty acids into the bloodstream, and those fatty acids get carried to other cells to be burned as energy. So you lose the fat. That's good, huh? But guess what else gets dumped into the bloodstream at the same time? The toxins that were in those fat cells. And fat cells happen to be really good at storing toxins because toxins have a molecular structure that makes them very similar to fat. And so they accumulate in fat tissue. So as you're burning your fat and the fatty acids are going into the bloodstream, you also have toxins that are going into the bloodstream. So it's really important when someone is going through a fat loss program to support cellular purification mechanisms. So R² Night wasn't formulated to be a weight loss program, but do you see how it goes along very nicely? Well, these are the ingredients that are in R² Night. These are the ingredients that we found to reestablish youthful gene expression of genes related to cellular purification. Blood orange, grapeseed extract, and broccoli seed extract. Has anybody in here ever eaten a blood orange? No? If you thought you were opening a regular orange and you cut it open, you'd think, something's wrong here because it's almost black inside. Well, that deep purple color comes from something known as anthocyanidins. And that's something that we were very interested in. These anthocyanidins appear to have a very good effect on reestablishing cellular purification, which is why it ended up in this cellular purification product. But it also turns out that each of these three ingredients, even though they're great at reestablishing cellular purification, they have research, even though we didn't do the research, they have research to show that they're great at supporting weight loss. And so I thought you might be interested in taking a look at some of the research that's out there. You can see the blood orange has been shown to inhibit fat accumulation. And the grapeseed extract reestablishes the metabolic activity of brown fat. You might know you have two different types of fat. There's brown fat tissue and there's white fat tissue. Brown fat actually burns more calories than white fat does. So the fact that grapeseed has been shown to reestablish brown fat metabolic activity is very important. And then lastly, this broccoli seed extract has been shown to reduce the ability of making new fat cells. Adipogenesis, it's a fancy scientific word that means the creation of new fat cells. And broccoli seed extract, which is rich in something known as sulforaphane, can reduce the body's ability to create new fat cells. So R² Day and R² Night were not formulated to be weight loss products, but you can see they go along fantastically with it. So one more slide. How do you take the product? So the R² Day, it's the white capsules, and you're going to take 6 of those in the morning. The R² Night, those happen to be the purplish brown capsules. Some of that purple color from the blood orange, that's what we're looking at there. You're taking 2 of those in the evening. And people sometimes ask me, do I take them right before I go to bed, or do I take it with dinner? You can decide what works for you. I like to take it, maybe 2 hours before I go to bed. But you can decide what's best for you. So, that's everything that I had to show you about R². I hope that you feel like you understand it better. I don't know where my beautiful model was. I thought, Shalyn, are you the beautiful model? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Stay safe. Thank you. And Tarima Kase.
Thank you, Glenn, for extensive sharing. Now we know that ageLOC R² and ageLOC Body Trial works wonder. And I know many of our leaders as well as executives have gotten their ageLOC R² and ageLOC Body Trial in the global convention, helping Nu Skin to create a record-breaking sales. Today, we have also invited our business builder who themselves has experienced transformation effect with our ageLOC R² and Body Trial. Shall we invite them on stage to tell us about that personal experience? Please join me to welcome them up on stage. We have invited our 4 leaders who is going to tell us about how ageLOC R² works wonder for their business as well. May I invite Wilson, our review executive, to tell us his experience with ageLOC.
Good morning, Nu Skin family. How are you doing today? First, I'd like to thank Nu Skin for giving me this opportunity to share. And I'd like to first tell you that before I came in to do the Nu Skin business, I was 35 years in one company. It was actually the biggest company in the shipping industry. So after 35 years, I'd like to thank my angel who brought me to New Skin. Actually, this friend of mine did not tell me where she was bringing me to. So anyway, I'm very grateful to her because with her bringing me, I joined New Skin for two reasons. One, I became more healthy, and two, I could stop exchanging time for money. So whatever I did to build up my New Skin business, it was accumulative all the time. Okay, and I'd like to thank Glenn and Nancy for such a wonderful teaching today. I'm so glad we don't have to remember so many things to do our business. We just have to duplicate what is simple, right? The ageLOC R² experience for me has been really wonderful. Firstly, I'm also fortunate that I joined New Skin before the first pre-convention sale, and I was able to take advantage of it and to buy a lot of sets for me and my group. So when December came and when the products finally arrived, we were also very excited because we know of Farmanex track record and that is so wonderful. So we were so excited to take it. And what I did, my first consumption was actually the R² night. You know, somehow I did not take the day first, I took the night one first. And when I woke up the next morning, I experienced two things. One was that I usually have problem with sleeping longer. You know, I could be tired, but when it's 6 o'clock, I'll get up, although I'm very tired. I can't sleep longer. But with R² night, I could sleep. I could continue to enjoy my sleep. So that was the first experience I got. The second experience was that when I went to do my toilet business, the job was really very good. And usually I know that I don't have problem with that, but it became very, very much better. Okay? And then of course, the R² day made me very much more energetic and alert in the day as I do my New Skin business. Now, I also got to share the product with one of my customers, very loyal customer, but do not want to do the business. So this customer, when she first took the products, she actually complained to my wife because she had some adjustment to her body, and she felt as though she felt like want to vomit all the time, right? So my wife told me that, I just tell her not to worry, just trust our ageLOC product and it will be okay. Now, just last week, I was very surprised that she actually helped me to sell one set of R². And the way she did it was to tell her friend, hey, you better take this ageLOC R². And then he says, you know, I don't like to take tablets. I don't like to take capsules. Then says, you better take, because if you don't take it, you grow old, you're going to get sick and take all the drugs. And then this person says, yeah, I think that is correct. And then one set of R² was sold like that. Now, the other testimonial that I have is of my business partner, Lucy here. And she had a very wonderful experience apart from the visual improvement in her face. She had a lot of pigmentation improved and her lines around her face also improved. But what was remarkable was last month, she went on a 5-kilometer run without any training, without any proper preparation, 5 kilometers and 40 sit-ups. And you know, she felt a little tired, but just after one day, she had a full recovery. So I think ageLOC R² is really wonderful for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wilson. Next, we have our Ruby executive, Lina, to share with us.
Morning, everybody. Good day to you. First of all, I thank the company for the opportunity of sharing here with each one of you. I actually started the business about a year and a half ago through the introduction of TRA from my dear sponsor, Kim Ng. And I actually lost 10 kilos in the process. And throughout the process, I had friends and dear ones coming up to me and ask me, hey, Lena, what happened to you? You know, you're looking great. And I started sharing with people around me, and I must be blessed that I have got a team of uplines as well as business partners that have supported me throughout this journey. And I feel blessed that when I shared on the product itself, FarmNext, as well as the business opportunity, I do have a lot of people coming back and sharing even better residual results that got me very excited and got me very, very satisfactory with the results of bringing good health, good wealth to all around me. So with ageLOC R², after taking it myself for about 3 months, this is my 3rd month, I feel that the energy level has definitely gone up in the day, and at night I do sleep better because of the self-purification, just like what Glenn has shared, and it does wonders. And one thing I realized also, I tend to be a little less hungry, which is where I believe the caloric restriction came into play, which miraculously works even better. I've been traveling quite a bit, and with ageLOC R², I also felt that my energy level is better, and I somehow don't put on weight even though I gorge a lot. I just came back from Japan and eating lots of carbo, and surprisingly when I came back and we were gone on the run, my coach will be very happy to hear that. I put on muscle percentage, and I had a fat loss of another 0.5%, which is almost a kilo, which is, wow, that's very good. Well done. Anyway, with this sharing, I'm also going to share some testimony of 2 very dear friends of mine. They have been very good supporter and customers of mine, and after taking, which I felt very good for them, is that they really feel better in terms of health. They have better energy in the day, and at night they actually sleep better. I even have a couple friend, which dear old friend of mine, whom they have got a lot of compliments from their work colleagues, which after I heard, I was like, wow, that's really good. I'm happy for them, and I would love that to be able to share more with people around me that I love, and I hope you do the same, and have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thanks.
Thanks, Lena. Next we have Annual Executive, Ms. Celine Toh.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I was about to say good morning, but yeah. Okay, I hope you are not asleep already. So I used to be a vice president of one of the top Japanese houses, broker houses. So as you know, financial work you like mad. So before that, I worked almost 12 hours or more. And I realized that as I age, I can't go on like that. So I started to look for business opportunities. And thanks to my sponsor, Pat and Keith, I got to know TRA by chance. Through TRA, I lost about 12.8 kg, which 8 of it is fat. So I've transformed totally from an XXL auntie to a hot mama. Okay, and as I get to know the company more, I got really excited. I find that the business opportunity behind ageLOC is really huge. And let me show you my pictures. I think it tells 1,000 words. As you can see that my legs was one big, one small in just 1 week. Yeah, and of course there are some other hidden areas that I'm too shy to show. But I can tell you, I just can't help by feeling my left legs all the time because it just feels so good. The texture, you know, it's just, I think I remember that I had that kind of texture when I was really young. Okay, so calling for all mothers who have lost their figures, okay, for the sake of their children. Now we have hope to wear bikinis again. Okay, as you can see, New Skin is very thoughtful. They use your weight, and then they address your outside appearance, by galvanic spa. And now with body trio, I'm really very excited. And can you imagine the demand out there? No one will resist to age gracefully. So, I'm sure if I partner with New Skin, I will still be very slim, very sexy, and very pretty in my shorts at the age of 60 when I'm driving a Ferrari. Thank you.
Thank you, Celine. Last but not least, we have our Blue Diamond Executive, Dr. Naga.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank New Skin to giving me this opportunity. I'm Dr. Wen Lai. I've been in New Skin business for a few years. And within these years, I found that I changed a lot. First of all, I transformed my body shape, and then I think I look younger, prettier, and healthier than before. And the best thing is I found the best quality of life in this business. Every day, I happily do New Skin everywhere without any stress that I can never get in my traditional business before. And thanks again to New Skin introducing such a wonderful products, especially ageLOC Body Trio. The moment I got this product, I like it very much, and then I feel safe for my future aging body shape. The more I use it, the more I love it, and the more I impress the company. The results are really fantastic. I prepared some slides for other testimonial. It's not my photo. And then we can focus to all of our body area that we don't like. And then within short, next slide please. Within short period, we can see the result. The results are so amazing. The machine is just, it's portable and effective, and it's very convenient to bring along everywhere and can use anytime. And then, we are now got a chance to use our whole body with ageLOC. And then New Skin gives us not only transform our face, but also our whole body became look younger and younger. I'm really enjoying myself in beautiful Hawaii trip in this October. Every morning when I wake up, I'm so excited. I can't wait to share this business opportunity about the body spa to everyone. And actually, market is very huge. We just need to use ourselves. We just need to transform our body. And then just help our friends to transform their body shape. And then just share the business opportunity with our excitement. In this New Skin 2.0 era, all of our friends, please join us, please faster join us and grab this business opportunity and get freedom with New Skin and enjoy your whole lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our testimonials, and I believe you are as amazed as I am with the power of ageLOC. So don't miss the chance to help all your downlines to become an executive by April and May, so that they can also experience the power of ageLOC R2 and ageLOC Body Trial. But not forgetting, TRA and ageLOC is the two main product sponsoring stories. So leverage on TRA and ageLOC, get people into the business, and definitely they will be on their way to experience ageLOC R2 and ageLOC Body Trial. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to create more millionaires with our leaders, with our products, and also our #1 management team. Thank you. Have a good day.